Okay, hi everyone. Welcome today to my interview with AstroLada. And I am so excited to be able to sit here and do this. You have been one of the biggest influences on my work, and you're so inspirational because you're a mother and you run a successful astrology business. Like, I don't even know how you do all the things you do. It's truly incredible. And yeah, so today we're going to be talking about parenting in astrology and just parenting and managing a business as well. It's such a huge topic, and I'm so excited to have you here with me today.
Thank you so much, Megan. Thank you for interviewing me. I very rarely take interviews. This is very rare, especially, on my personal life or anything, because you probably know that one of the biggest judgment anyone receives nowadays on their parent and how they raise children. And I only agreed for you to interview me because you're a mother of three yourself. You're also an astrologer who is starting and budding her astrology career. So I knew I would not be judged, so I can open my heart in front of you. And you just told me you're homeschooling the kids for the last 1 year, which is like kudos to you, big respect. I don't know how you're doing it. What saved me in the last 1 year during COVID was that we were the only daycare in the whole of Washington that was open where my kids are. And it's like God saved me. So I could work at the same time. So it is very hard, especially in the last 1 year, to have your own business and to have children, and no even daycare. I mean, like even I was trying to get nannies, but they don't want to come. They were afraid because of COVID with little children. So, but thanks God, the daycare was there, and it's been tough. It's been tough, but let's say I'm starting to think I'm superhuman and super mom.
You definitely
To
are a
COVID.
super mom. Yeah, I mean, it is incredibly challenging to like run a business, have kids. I mean, the one thing that's helped me through this, homeschooling them this year was that it kind of helped them, like, I think, learn to be independent. They had to be, because I can't be like one-on-one with them every second. Like, we're done with daycare at 12, or I mean, daycare, homeschool. And I just then let them, like, I'm like, you guys have to play. You have to play so I can work. Like, I can't do anything otherwise. But yeah, and I'm so, inspired by your ability to be able to manage such a large and successful like astrology business while managing being a mother. And I was wondering, like, is there some ways that you found astrology actually has helped you in this process, like learning about your children's charts, which of course I'm sure you draw your children's charts.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's been a help because I'm very dramatic. I'm a drama queen. Moon in Leo, conjunct the North Node. Like I make a drama out of everything. And the moon in Leo is not the most parental, let's say, because it wants to have fun with the kids and play. But it's really like I have no water or earth in my horoscope. So the nurturing, calming energy, that children need so much. Children need the feminine energy, water, earth. I don't have any of that. And it's been very challenging for me because I'm the fun mom. I don't have ability even to put structures or regulations. They're not afraid of me. They treat me like like I'm their buddy. And I just don't have it inside of myself how to be like with the routines and with the I can just rough play with them, just dance with them, but that's very small part of parenting. And thankfully my husband is the opposite. He's a lot of water and earth. He's Cancer with Taurus and with Pisces in him. So he's the opposite role. So he has this nurturing, centering energy. He's been keeping this kind of routines. That's what has helped me. But I have my first child that is very challenging. It shows also in my horoscope, firstborn is ruled by the fifth house, and the rule of my fifth house is opposite Saturn. So we have a strong karmic connection there. So I find the firstborn a difficult child, and he's extremely intelligent and everything, but he's extremely stubborn, and he has a very and he's double Scorpio. So Scorpio moon, Scorpio rising, Aries sun, so a lot of Mars energy. He can walk through walls. He's walking around with hammer and make holes in the wall, and he's banging on windows and pushing his system. And he's very strong Scorpio energy. Plus Pluto, the ruler of Scorpio, is in his third house of the younger sibling, and it has 4 squares, so 3 squares. So he has a very jealous relationship with his youngest sister. The first moment he saw her, he started crying when I came from, when I showed him to her in the hospital. So his Scorpio energy, Scorpio children, I realized actually a lot of moms on Facebook, I would say, please help me. I know what to do with him. He's so jealous. All the Scorpio, all this intensity, so much. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm an astrologer, but I've never been a mom before. Other moms came up that have children with Scorpio moon or strong Scorpio, and they said it's so important for Scorpio children to give them one-on-one because they feel a lot of jealousy. So this is what's been our saving grace. I will take him and go on with him for a few hours, and separating them, and then he's perfect. It's like if you have a Scorpio child, a Scorpio moon child, they really need to feel all the attention is coming to them, because Scorpio is like this, they are insatiable to feel, not validation, like you're the best, you're good. This is a Leo moon. They're insatiable to feel emotional connection. They want to feel you are mine, I'm yours, and we're merged into one. And when there is another sibling, it's very challenging on little Scorpio kids. So that's what I learned, and that's what's been giving me an insight with him. And the little girl is super. She's Aquarius moon. She's quite independent. She's Sagittarius rising, so it's very easy. But with a challenging child, it helps so much to know your astrology. And also, he there are other things there. For example, with their eating, they both have Saturn in the second house of eating, and Saturn is to be extremely stubborn. It's like you want to eat one thing, that, and they'll go for a whole day. They'll not eat if I don't give them what they want to eat. But both have good aspects to Saturn, so I learned how to incorporate those good aspects so they can, and now they eat mostly fruits, vegetables, soups, home cooked things. But like I had to work with the Saturn, which is extremely stubborn. Like for example, Milo would not touch food that has coloring for a period. This the Saturn stubborn is like the soups had to be all white, all yellow. But I work with good aspects to their Saturn and found the way around. So there are always hacks with astrology that you can try. My firstborn as well is Sun conjunct Uranus, and I knew immediately a Sun conjunct Uranus, very correct, very exact, plus square Pluto. I knew that he'll be high sensitive to electronics, like if he has iPads, or if he's close to where the electricity is, if you're charging something, if he's staying close to electronics too long, or overly excited by TV, he goes crazy. His nervous system goes haywire. He starts shouting, screaming. He can't calm down, almost like possession. And we learned to shut off the electronics, like to put like 30 for him 30 minutes electronics, and that's it. And so he doesn't and because Uranus really disconnects you from Earth, so you're ungrounded when it's conjunct the Sun. So he needs to ground. So we send him out in the garden. He needs to be out. The only place he feels calm is in nature. So his senses are not overstimulated, because Uranus aspect Sun can make you overly stimulated. So yeah, these are some of the things I'm doing an astrology lesson. Sorry about that.
No, it's great. It's so good. Yeah, I mean, and it's awesome to hear like your knowledge of astrology is so vast, and like the way you incorporate all the aspects, which I'm in your aspects class right now, which is amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's so interesting, especially about the Scorpio moon. And a lot of parenting astrologers talk a lot about like the moon as a primary thing for parents to look at when they're, first looking at their children's chart. And do you agree that that's the primary thing you should start out with, or do you think it's just to do the whole thing?
So esoterics, I even spoken with psychics, where the high level psychics, and they see that till the 7th year, the child aura is connected to the mom. When I can't sleep well, my children also can't sleep well. It's very connected. They feel the emotions, even if I'm far away. They'll, if I'm upset, my parents say they were upset at that time. So they're connected astrally to the mom. and they're connected through the moon, because the moon is the astral connection. So they're living through the moon till the age of 7. So I clearly see that my sun is Scorpio rather than Aries sun, right? I see the Aries sun too, but the sun blossoms the older you get. The sun is the logical, it's the very intellectual qualities of a person. And they blossom more with age after 21. The sun fully blossoms at 30. But the moon is in the first 7 years is the primary indication how a child will behave. And my son with moon in Scorpio opposite Mars. So he comes and hits me, hits the mom, Mars. The mom gets aggressive, and I'm never aggressive. And the first human being in the world I'll shout back at, the trigger of this Mars. So, he hurts the ones he loves, Mars, opposite moon, but he sees the mom, Scorpio, very possessive. He's very possessive towards me, very intense. So definitely the moon is the thing. While my daughter is Aquarius moon. And she's like, she can be alone. She's just talking to herself all day. Aquarius is not an attached sign. So it doesn't mean she's not attached to us at all, but it's much more independent and much more easy. It doesn't get emotional. It doesn't get emotionally reactive and doesn't miss us if we separate for a little bit. So yes, just for the first 7 years, work with the moon and its aspects, and work, for example, my son moon is in his first house. He needs attention on him, deep, intense, emotional, focused attention, and physical. He needs to be physical in the first house. My daughter's moon in Aquarius, which is already detached and chatty, and non-emotional, is in the third house. She's like, blah, 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 blah. She talks all the time. And you look at the aspects, and she has only good aspects to that moon. So she's very easy as a child. While my son has opposition Mars, and a few good aspects, but trying to Venus. So he has his good sides. He's very loving as well. But you have to activate if a child has a very challenging aspect to the moon, like an aspect of Saturn or Mars, or Uranus or Pluto. You have to look, is there an easy aspect to the moon, and activate and start approaching this child through the easy aspect. In my son's case, it's Venus trine, and it's also Pluto sextile. So I use Venus and Pluto soft methods because he does not react with resistance to them. When I use Mars method, where he has a hard aspect opposition with the moon, he immediately gets aggressive himself. So if I try to be Mars and shout him, no, slap him, or spank him, whatever, he reacts. Or if I get too physical, he gets overly excited and gets aggressive. So I have to act with Venus and with Pluto, with the soft aspect. And that's how you do. You look at the moon only till the age of 7, mostly.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Yeah, my oldest daughter now is 8, almost 9, and so she's sort of like moving to the next phase, and it's been so interesting. She's Libra rising with an Aries moon opposing Saturn, though, but she was actually very much an easy child, and now I've found that some of that Saturn energy is really starting to come up in the Libra zone. So like if things don't feel fair to her, it's like she's really communicating that now. And so I've had to work a lot.
Saturn in Libra. Yeah, Saturn in Libra.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's the best position for Saturn.
Yeah, she's generally, and she's Cancer sun in the 10th. And so she's definitely very nurturing to her siblings, which has been a huge blessing for me, especially during homeschooling. But there's certainly this new energy to her, which is like more trying to like assert herself and very upset when things are not fair. And she has Mars in Libra as well, and so she's got this very like strong, like things must be fair. She's like starting to assert herself really strongly, which has been a interesting change to watch. And it clearly happened at 7 as she sort of moved into this new phase of expressing. Yeah. So how do you think of that? Like,
because Saturn also works with 7 ages. Saturn's age is 7, 14. So she's probably coming more incorporating at 7, 14, 21 is the Saturnian qualities that start manifesting more and more, because Saturn incorporates in 7 years as well.
Yeah.
Every 7.
Yeah. So right now it's like her Saturn has been activated to becoming more the first Saturn phase of herself, which has been.
I think, and you said she's been helping you with the children. I think she'll take a mother role of responsibility, the moon to mother, and Saturn to take responsibility and take care of them. And that will help actually. When you have that, it's best when you have Saturn opposition moon is to channel it in giving more responsibility to the child in mothering roles, to trigger the positive side of Saturn opposition moon, you know. So it's actually keep the busy with responsibility in that way, rather than maybe, you know, Saturn negative role moon, she can get like into moods as a teenager, and emotionally she can be very more self-critical, you know. So it's good to keep her busy with such, to teach her to be exactly like a let's say a responsible caring figure for the little
Yes.
ones.
Yeah, that's definitely what I've been trying to do. And I realized like on the days, because I'm homeschooling, you know, and honestly, as a mom trying to run a business, and also my husband owns a building business. So we're crazy, you know. And I've like realized some days, you know, when I don't give her enough schoolwork, even it's different. Like she does not do well. She's better to be given like a stack of things to do.
She needs structure. Saturn moon combinations, they need to have a structured day to know, you know, kind of what she has to do. And she'll be, and this is someone who can actually, with responsibility, can thrive. So that's actually prefer Saturn moon aspects to Saturn Mars because with Saturn, sorry, with the Saturn Mars moon, because you have to constantly, with Mars moon is very physical. I have to run all the time after him, and with he's either with a knife or with a hammer and looking for something, some tool to do something.
Yeah. And you know, so yeah, like so moms who are sort of starting to look into astrology and reading their charts, how do you tell them best to look at their moon in relationship to their children's moon? What is some ways that they can think about like their forms of nurturing, and you know how their children need to be nurtured?
Well, you specialize in parent astrology, don't you? That's
Yes.
what. Oh,
Yeah,
can
I
you
do.
tell me what you think for?
Well, I think it's really important to like, you know, first sort of look at your own moon and sort of think of yourself as a mother, because if you're not nurtured and you're not giving yourself the space you need, it's going to be impossible to then like, you can't fully adjust yourself to your children. While you could be empathetic towards, yes, they have, you know, moon in Leo and I'm moon in Gemini, or let's say, you know, you can have a sympathy towards what they may need. But if you're not nurtured and you're not feeling stable, it's impossible to give them what they need. So I think that's kind of the first step, is to like read your own chart and dive in, and then start to understand how your astrology is playing out and how you can like give
That's
yourself
the
to.
greatest advice I've heard, to be honest, because I've been focusing on what they need, and I've been my Leo moon, it just wants to, my Leo moon wants to do spontaneous things, party, have romance with my husband. I've been to 2 dinners in 2 years almost. I've had 2 nights away from the kids only in 2 years. And that Leo moon is like losing its spark, losing its joy. I've been quite down because I need the glamour. I need to get my dress looking pretty, to go dance with my husband. And it's always, if I was moon in Cancer, maybe I'll be so happy in rhythmical routine, but I'm not. And I've not been so. The only moments when I feel joyful is when I'm performing, shooting a video, you know, talking with someone like you, where you can express yourself, the moon in Leo, and have a laugh. And it's been very hard in COVID. Thank you. I will do more Leo things.
Yeah, that's
Definitely.
what I would 100% say. I mean, and of course, it's not easy as a mom when you're so busy, and especially this past year with all the restrictions. Like I'm moon in Gemini and I need to socialize, which has been incredibly
I was
difficult.
thinking that moon in Gemini and Sagittarius would have had the worst.
Yes.
Would have having the worst in this last year.
Yeah, it's been.
How did you ended up teaching you? children at school.
Yeah, so that
That's
was stimulating in
yeah.
some ways, doing that was like, and I think like it was important for me to be like, you know what, because my son's in the fifth house, my moon in the 11th with the Sagittarius and Gemini, and it's like I'm a little bit like you in the way that like I need to have fun. I'm not really the structured parent either. Now, while I may not have provided my kids with exactly everything that could have been perfect for them, like Hope could have used more structure, I'm sure, and maybe next year we'll reevaluate, but I needed to like make homeschool fun. So I did things like parties and activities and tried to just like do what I'm good at, and that's, I
Well,
think,
sun in the fifth house, the most brilliant teachers, because the sun is what you're brilliant at. Fifth house is teaching children, because fifth house is to play games. And so, and especially because they're on the axis of Sagittarius and Gemini for you, yes,
yeah,
there's a natural teacher, communicator, inspirer axis. So you're brilliant. I'm sure that you're doing, if you invented games and all those things, I'm sure you're doing brilliant
thank
with
you.
that.
It's hard, but as every mom feels, I'm sure it's just so hard not to be too self-critical. And I think that's like the key thing I try and do when I work with parents is be like, you need to like give yourself some grace. And that's one thing I love about astrology is, if you view your child as coming to you because they need to learn lessons, even if it's not all like 100% positive, they're learning like lessons that they need to learn. This is their destined place to be, and you're their guardian, or you're helping them through their life, and you have to take care of yourself first before you can. So definitely I think you need to like find a babysitter and go on some dates like soon.
They don't want to come. We live in the smallest ass island here, and it's all military, navy people, and they don't need it. It's military, it's navy. They very few women here, and they'll rather, because they can receive help somehow, from government right now. So everyone is refusing us. So that's why I'm saying, okay, we're going to Europe for 6 months at least, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go out to restaurants. I'm gonna go to glamorous events. Everything is open in Bulgaria, so I'm gonna go to fashion shows. I'm gonna go to I'm gonna go to parties on the boat, whatever. It's not just party that Leo needs. Leo needs just to feel noticed. You see,
Yeah.
I've been wearing those gray t-shirts. This is so not Leo mood. It's like only slacks and t-shirts and something. My spark is dying. So that's what I'm gonna do, and I'm so excited. Well, okay, maybe we should give an advice to women, moms, according to their moon. What do you think?
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah. I
can
think that would
can
be
you
great.
improvise? What do you think for each of the 12 signs, for example, if anyone is a mom is watching us?
Yeah, I
We
think that would be great. Yeah, we could definitely do that. Yeah, we can just start from Aries and go through. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. You can do one and I another and like that.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll start with Aries moon, I guess. So, yeah, I mean, as an Aries moon, you have like a real need to be seen as a leader and to have some physical, exertion of that passionate drive that you have. And it's, I think, really important to give yourself the time to do physical activities for one, like, if it's yoga that you're into, or CrossFit might be more appropriate for like an Aries moon, maybe. Whatever it is, you need to make sure that you're like allowing yourself that time. Don't suppress or put aside your like physical needs just for your children, because if you do that, you're not going to be able to be there for your children. You're going to actually drain your energy by not filling that very passionate need. And also spending like passionate time with your partner, if you have one, is important for an Aries moon, I would say.
Absolutely. Taurus, if you have Taurus moon, I think these are probably the best moms with Taurus moon, because they're calmer, they have more patience. But how do you nurture yourself? Well, the simplest thing is you need the five senses. Taurus rules the five senses. So anything, when you have a bit of long time, look beautiful in nature, spend time in nature, have a garden, plant flowers, so grow something, or have time to cook at night, and not just cook, slap on, something, toast and butter. Do it visually appealing, and the best is if you don't have to cook, but go, if you have time with your partner, to good tasting restaurants, to some wine tasting where there is good quality luxury organic foods. And if you can have uh, if you can have a day away in a month somewhere in nature in a villa, that would be perfect. Of course they love luxury, so go buy yourself the best sheets, go buy yourself the best, such kind of little things of self-care are so important for you as a Taurus moon, where the five senses are nurtured. Good Egyptian cottons, some silk pajamas, some good aromatherapy at home. So that's a simple self-care routine for Taurus moon moms.
That's perfect. I love that. Sometimes I wish I was a Taurus moon. I love Taurus. It seems like the perfect mother sign, but yeah. So Gemini moon, which is me actually. So for myself, I think that really you need to be intellectually stimulated and socially. So sign up for some classes. Like if you are needing something, I mean, especially now, there's actually so many more online classes than there's ever been. Like explore a topic that you've always wanted to. That's one way, especially one if there's some live aspects where you can be interacting with people and, you know, getting that sort of intellectual stimulation. Buy some new books or go to the library. I mean, you don't have to buy them, but like spend some time reading and nurturing your mind. But then you really need that social aspect, which has been difficult in COVID. The thing that I started doing after a while of COVID, I mean, at first I was just freaked out and didn't know what to do. And I was just like so sad. It was horrible. Then I was like, you know, I'm going to make Zoom appointments with my friends. So like even doing that, if that's all you can do, is so helpful. Like get on Zoom, talk to your friends, even if you haven't talked to them for years, and get on your phone and text everyone and just get communicating, like get that energy scattered out and really like nurture your intellectual and social needs.
Perfect. I'll go to Cancer. For me, they're like Uber moms. If you have Cancer moon, you care about everyone else, but you forget yourself. And with the Cancer moon, I've seen it even with men. Nowadays, fathers are also can play the maternal
Yeah.
role. I've seen it with few men that are actually they're married to women, but they are the mother, and they have Cancer moon. So you have to remember that when on the airplane they say first put your own oxygen before you put to the baby, and that's what Cancer moon forget. They mother everyone, they try and oh, here is a cup of tea, here's a blanket, are you okay, and da, 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 da. Not only your children, your whole family, your spouse, you try to, you think you obliged to make everyone comfortable and you forget yourself. And that's why for them it's not even necessarily physical, like for Taurus moon, like they have to pamper themselves with spas and massage and whatever. It's more like they need some alone time. They need some time. I think nature again can help them disconnect, being close to water, taking baths. Cancer is a water sign, so make it like a ritual with a bath, that every time you feel stressed and overwhelmed, go there, listen to some meditation music, because Cancer rules the soul. It rules the heart area as well, around here, the breast. And I would say definitely if you can go to retreats a little bit, like on a spa somehow, or on anything by the ocean, walk by the water, this will take a lot out of your uh, this is kind of a self-care ritual for you. And to pay the and to listen to your needs as well, not just the needs of the others. You are not meant to mother everyone. Forget that. Remember that, yeah. So home cooked food and so on, I think they would be the ones that kind of thrive a lot in pandemics and very close family situations, as long as they give this alone time a little bit. Usually in the and for them it's very important that they have security, that their home, if you can't deal everything, find someone to clean your home, because Cancer moon people, they feel the best when their home is well ordered, and where they feel basically that they want to be home and they want to be and they so I would say even get some help with home chores, so you can just enjoy the feeling of being at home, not that you're always staying there and having chores to do and fix and so on, if you can afford it, of course.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I love all of that advice. I mean, and some of that, like even, you know, outsourcing help if possible is just for anyone right now is like so helpful. Yeah, so for Leo moon, which is you, but I think it's like really important, especially in the time where like you haven't been able to be out as much, to try and like make any experience as fun as possible. Like buy yourself some leopard print pajamas and wear them around the house. You know, like really get fun in whatever ways you can within the limitations that might be around. And absolutely, like trying to get out. Like I love that you're going to Europe and you're going to be able to get out and do things, because that's so important. Like you need to be seen and you need to be regal, like the queen that you are, and sort of really nurturing that, you know, that real lioness power that you have. And I think, like, you know, I'm Leo rising, and I have found it like, well, not my moon, it's just been really helpful. Like when I was so stuck at home, like I did order myself like some very expensive pajamas, like the only outfit I've bought this year, but something like that. Really a good way to just like, you know, get out, or you know, try and find ways that you can shine within your like community in your area. I mean, you know, recording like a video, maybe you should teach a lesson on something that, you know, recording videos of yourself, put yourself out there. And this is kind of a time to really let yourself shine as a mother. I mean, if you need to take more selfies of you and the kids to like boost the ego, that's a great thing to do. Like to go ahead and do that. Like it's fine.
Yes. Yes, definitely. And they're very proud parents. Like they want people to admire their kids. This is my, you know, so the applause for sure.
Yeah. I think just find ways to get that spotlight, you know, on you. And if you were having a hard time, like I definitely, as a mother, it's like on you as the mother with the children, like bring them into the show kind of thing. Like let them,
Yeah.
like let yourself shine with them.
Yeah, and I constantly beat myself why am I not good with organizing routines, but I'm brilliant at playing with them. So give yourself credit for how fun mom you are.
Yeah.
with with Virgo moon, actually I don't know anyone with Virgo moon, a close friend with children or anything, but I would say for them again it's an earthy sign, and the self-care routines can be very much about making a good smoothie because Virgo is very health conscious, and they'll feel very good about themselves as a woman when they're really on a good routine, a health routine. So they to give enough time for themselves in the morning to get up to get their supplement. If you don't have supplements, I think Virgo moon really benefits from supplements. And I'm saying maybe it might be like a cleansing tea, it might be like a camel, it's not necessarily just some pills or whatever, but they feel like cleaner and godlier. And again, for them it's very important to have at least more organized home, because even if they're not aware of them, if it's a mess, it really puts disorder inside of them as well. So when they're feeling down, actually it might be even like a healing remedy for them to clean up around, to pick up around a bit. I know that's what all the time moms do, but to them it's like, oh, you know, organize your wardrobe and stuff. This gives them, or if you can find someone to organize them really well, because it will give you such like a hint for the soul, and have your healthy routines there, connect with earth definitely as well. It's quite and I think they can be quite good to some kind of hobbies that are more working with small things, like I know making bracelets, or because they love to focus on the small things. So this is what their comfort zone with the moon there. Something that requires skill, which is Virgo is very skillful, that may be intricate painting of some sort, but something that is also with details, and or maybe making clothes somehow. This again can
Yeah.
be I you know, like customizing clothes or something like that. And because they always, and also learn to take a break. Virgo moon, they always want to be helpful, they always want to serve everyone, they always feel like they might even have a lot of self-criticism, what kind of mom they are, that they have this perfectionist streak, and a lot of they can more easily notice when someone criticizes them about their parenting, and they can more easily beat themselves up with self-critical talk about that as well. And because they want everything to be perfect, the clothes, the what, not, you know, there are always exceptions, of course, but they beat themselves for that. So they need to give themselves more credit because they're probably one of the more perfect moms there, and they need to give them time themselves time for their own routines that anchors them and centers them, especially when they're more physical, like more tangible, like with foods, with good healthy foods, smoothies, supplements, yoga and such kind of stuff for them as well.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. And so for Libra moons, I think, I mean, the key thing I first think of with Libra is balance. And so it's like really trying to find some balance within your home, which can be obviously quite difficult when you're raising young children. But it's, if you can find ways to incorporate balance like into your daily routine, things such as like meditation, yoga, I think is like really perfect for a Libra moon. Some things like this can really help you create like internal balance, even if sometimes externally it's hard to get that sort of balance that you crave. And then, trying to create or keep with some sort of schedule that gives you a balanced self-care routine. Like you're going to use, maybe you wake up earlier than the children and you have an hour a day that is yours, and really use that time to sort of nurture yourself. And I mean, Libra is also an air sign, and they definitely have this need for intellectual stimulation, and being ruled by Venus, there's a lot of, there's like a sort of love of beauty. I think of like the Libra Venus as much more, I don't like regal, like the Venus in the city or like in Greece or something, versus the Venus in Taurus is so earthy. And I think that it's really, you want to like give yourself some of that beauty of the, perfectly balanced aesthetic in your home, and make yourself feel beautiful. That's important for a Libra moon. Like put on makeup, even if you're not going to see anyone, that's okay. Like if it makes you feel good, do it. Like that's totally okay to do. And go ahead and, buy yourself some more makeup stuff, do whatever you need to feel pretty and balanced and, aesthetically pleasing. And also like working on your home and trying to find like make it a beautiful space so that way you enjoy spending time there. Those are some of the things I think of for Libra moon.
Wonderful. It sounds nice to be a Libra mom. Sounds more chill compared
Yeah.
to Scorpio mom. If you're Scorpio moon mom, I have my best friend is Scorpio moon mom, and she was like so on her kid in a sense that she was into his business always. And I'm like, chill the, just give him some space. You don't have to know everything about him, and it's like there is almost like kind of compensating. Sometimes I've seen it being like Uber moms again. The Scorpio, it is a little bit about control, and it's about they want to penetrate, they want to merge with the child, and it's just, so it's okay to give them independence. It's okay to let them, to give them space as well. You need your space as well because you're very sign that absorbs a lot of feelings to shake up those feelings as well. You need your own private place.
Yeah.
If you don't have a private secret garden, if you can't make that, you need like maybe a bedroom for you or a corner for you that is like your own cave where you can retreat a little bit, hide yourself, give yourself permission to hide, give yourself permission to to not be always, because Scorpio is very alert. They're always on the alert. There's danger. They're mothers that maybe that's why they're very protective sometimes, because Scorpio has this ability to smell when there is danger, or so it's like, there are good things in, not, don't worry about your kids so much. And it's allow yourself to maybe even focus a little bit out of the emotional into the more physical as well. But of course, some good fun time for them can be exploring the occult and astrology. Such women, so many women that I know with Moon in Scorpio are into occult, into their favorite time is to read psychological analysis, to try to understand the personality of others. That recharges them up. But of course, the alone time that Scorpio craves as well, and intimacy. If you're such a mom, you need to have, especially if you're a single mom, it might be a bit hard with Scorpio moon because there's so much about merging at a deep level with another. You need to keep your sex life, or at least the intimacy with a partner, Or if you're single, maybe have someone that you can confide in. I think also a good thing would be like, not because you need it, but have like a psychologist. They just go talk about whatever you want to talk. It's not necessarily to explore deep traumas and things like that, just so you can express and put into words those deep feelings that are just so profound for you, that and it will help you like a release inside. Also energy work. Scorpio rules the chakras, and your moon day is very sensitive. So you can be, when you feel overly stressed or whatever, acupuncture, it's also Scorpio, needles that they put on chakra centers, can help you a lot with stress and self-care. And some energy work like, Reiki or whatever, that can be very helpful for you. um, of course, tantra, sexual release, as we said. Some romantic alone time if there is no one else there. Or reading a mystery book, it's a water sign in the bath again. But hiding away, just put candles so it's a bit darker. And yeah, I can't think of other things right now on the spur of the moment, but yeah, in those in that area, I guess.
Yeah, no, that was great. I mean, that's a lot of really good. I love the one, especially like, seeing as therapist is really helpful, not just because like, it's not that you need to necessarily maybe process trauma, maybe you do, but just to have that space alone with your, with someone else. And then that is designed to be a transformative relationship. So you can get out some of that and not have to put it to the
Yeah.
child.
Or if you have a very good friend that you can confide everything in. Scorpio is one of those signs that they need to go and share with someone you trust a lot. Like all my Scorpio friends, like we always discuss deep emotional. They love to discuss deep emotional matters and give advice to others. They're great at giving psychological advice to others. And actually, she always feels like, wow, I feel so much better when I talk about, and I always share her my biggest secrets, because you kind of open to a Scorpio moon. I don't know why, but people come and tell you, like, oh, I'm married, but I fancy my colleague. People come to them and tell them their secrets and share. And actually, they need the same. They need this intimacy with someone. It can be with the sexual part, with a very good friend to share very deeply personal things, and that recharges them. It's self-care for them if they don't have the psychologist.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's all like really good advice for the Scorpio moons. Yeah. I found also a lot of my clients end up being Scorpio moons because I think it is that the interest in passionate transformation and all of that, which is I actually really love Scorpio moons. Yeah, so
My yeah, always. And always something I found, when they become moms, they become more beautiful than before Scorpio moons, because this motherhood, which is the moon, gives them the triggers the scorpionic energy of transformation. So they have makeovers. Like all my friends with Scorpio, when they became moms, they started, maybe not immediately, maybe a few lines down the, but it gives them tremendous power to transform themselves physically, their appearance, their body, to recreate themselves. So this power of transformations awakens with parenthood. Okay, sorry.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, it's that real transformative power of Scorpio. That's what I love about Scorpio, definitely. Yeah, so Sagittarius moon, I mean, the first thing I think of is like wander a little bit, like go on some trips if you can, with your children or without your children. I mean, obviously in terms of self-care, doing something alone or with your partner would be great as like a restorative time, but also just like taking your children to the museum or somewhere where you're like learning with them is such a great way. Like embrace that sort of fun, fiery energy by just literally getting out of the house, even if it's a walk down the road. Like make everything fun and an opportunity to learn more with your children, which is what you love to do and what you crave. And also it's like, you need some change, as a mutable sign. It's like you really want to switch things up. So I think that it's really good if you can be like spontaneous and embrace that. Like, don't feel bad. Like, okay, we're not going to school today. We're headed to the science museum because I want to do it. And your kids are going to love that. They're going to get so much from you being your authentic, fun, exploring self. And who knows, like the philosophy lessons you'll give at that museum but those experiences and embracing spontaneity with your children is like such a gift. And it's a good thing to just go ahead and embrace it. Cause I think sometimes, and like you were saying too, I think fire sign moons feel like a little bit guilty that they're not, you know, structured and ordered. But, you know, being a fun mom is a cool role to have. And your children are going to remember that. They're going to love that. And so it's like really embracing your gifts and just going with it, because, you know, there's no perfect way. Just being a structured parent doesn't make you a perfect parent. So just like do what you do the best. And for Sagittarius, I really think of that, like, you know, learning, also explore your own desire to learn, you know, taking courses is a great way, or just, you know, even like sharing your passion for reading and learning with your children. So like reading time with the kids, or let's say you're interested in mythology or energy healing, find ways to teach your children that as like a way of self-care. But also, you know, with self-care shouldn't just be about the children. And I think that there's also a very physical side of Sagittarius. And so like getting out there and like doing competitive sports, or joining like a softball league and getting some of that energy out is a good way. So that way when you're home, you can be more centered, you don't feel so like pent up. Yeah. So that's some of the stuff that I think of.
Awesome. Here. Very good. I was thinking about Capricorn, but maybe you can help me a bit with Capricorn, because I don't know many people that actually moms with Capricorn, because I like to use real examples, and I can give you how I see it as a, you know, the theory of it, but maybe because you've worked more with moms and children, you can help me with Capricorn moms.
Yeah,
What
sure.
would you?
Yeah, so I actually, and I do have a friend who's a Capricorn moon, and I find, well, one thing Capricorn is, you know, in some ways feminine, even though we don't think of it like that traditionally, because but it is a feminine sign. So there is a very nurturing quality, while even though being ruled by Saturn, it's definitely more ordered and a bit more disciplined. But I think that like teaching your children, well, I'm focusing more on like the children, but self-care wise, let me think. So, you know, go ahead and set goals for yourself that are far out, like that are hard and that you're going to achieve, because you are going to achieve them. And so set these goals, like I am going to do 1 hour of yoga a day and complete this intensive yoga training because I want to be a yoga teacher. Or, you know, I want to learn how to free climb mountains. I mean, that's kind of like perfect for Capricorn because of I always think of the mountain climber.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
and so like maybe just trying things like rock climbing, some of that physical things, and getting into nature, an earth sign. So like getting out there and just spending time in nature as like your sort of centering thing, like build that into your schedule, because it's important to like literally write it out as a Capricorn moon. Like my goal is to be taking care of myself. This is like number 3 on my order of goals, or however you know, do it. And I picture the Capricorn being very, you know, determined in this aspect. So make it a determined goal to take care of yourself, and you will certainly achieve it. And it's like, yeah, I think of a lot being, you know, physical in some ways, like getting some sort of goal that you can physically accomplish. And then also this like spending time in nature and that goal oriented. And don't criticize yourself if maybe you're not as much the fun mom that like a fire sign would be. Like you are the mom who is like teaching them the importance of setting goals, creating boundaries for yourself. And that is such a powerful gift for your children.
And they chose you, so they want that. I'm currently having progress moon in Capricorn. It's just ending. I'm a bit grateful, but it's almost like you don't allow yourself to have fun because you think you have to be productive and always doing something. That's what I felt the last 2.5 years. Like, and I out feel down every time I didn't work. So actually, it's first of all, you don't always have to do things. You don't always have to
Yeah.
be productive, but for them it will be healthy if they have something else rather than the children as outside, maybe like a career, even if it's not career, like you said, some other goal, because that's what makes them feel good about themselves when they are achieving something, chipping away at something little by little to feel productive, then that they to feel that ability to be in control again, not only with the children but outside of their lives. So that it is important. It means like more work for them, but it's something that that it's just, I think it was probably my hardest progress moon after Scorpio. But
Yeah.
mom, first I was down a lot, and I always, worst case scenario, I would feel like, oh, worst case scenario, you always worry too much with Capricorn moon. And it's you've already set boundaries, you've already have taken care, you're very responsible mom. So allow yourself, actually, because with Capricorn moon, it is, you have to follow the energy of Capricorn, but the moon is in detriment there, as they call it. So you have to um, antidote to the Capricorn energy, the opposite of Capricorn. So you have to actually give yourself some relaxation, nurturing. Not, it's not always, you've already too in control and organized and so on, and you can, just give yourself a bit more lightness if you can. Allow yourself more fun.
Yeah, especially once you become a mother, really, because like you've filled your plate so much. It's like you've got to take that time to like, okay, I'm gonna go have fun and just like release these responsibilities I have and these, all these structures. You need that like sort of break. That's a good point of the like you need an antidote towards some of that energy that's
Yeah,
so.
I also, when a planet is in the fall, for example, moon in Scorpio. Oh, sorry. When the moon is in Scorpio or Capricorn, or planet in fall or detriment, you need the opposite a little bit, because they don't feel comfortable enough there, and you don't want to give them more of that, more of that energy. You need to do some of the things of the sign for sure, because it is who they are, but also a little bit of the opposite. So with Capricorn moon, I just felt like I felt guilty every time I was having fun
Yeah.
during those 2.5 years. So it's, if you're born with that moon, just learn not to feel like that.
Yeah, that's definitely important. So then what do we have next? Oh, Aquarius moon. So yeah, so Aquarius moon, my husband's Aquarius moon, and I tend to often be in relationships with people with Aquarius moon, and my grandmother's one. But Aquarius moon can sometimes be, a bit detached emotionally, like has some space, can do their alone things. So, that's good to allow yourself things that you naturally need is this alone time. Like it's okay to say, like, I need to be alone, like dad or babysitter or whoever you have, like you need to watch the children, like I'm going off to do my own thing. And then I think like a fun way to sort of embrace some of the Aquarius like inventive sort of energy and this sort of love for uniqueness and new is to just give yourself the opportunity to explore new ideas and new technologies sometimes as well could actually be a way of like nurturing your Aquarius moon, connecting with people in community, because that's a big part of the Aquarius energy. So connecting with people through online environments might be a really nice way, especially as like a new mom when you can't get out. It's like just difficult. Even pre-COVID, it was hard to like bring three little babies out. And so like if you can connect with other people or causes through technology, that could be, a helpful way. And I think it's also like finding communities or social networks, groups, let's say like a cause that you believe in, and then involving yourself in that. Like you care about environmentalism. Is there some sort of environmental group in your community that you could help out in some way? Like that will really like nurture you and give you this sort of relationship with others and helping the community, and also give you some alone time that you'll feel really good about because you're helping people, but time away from the children that can like also give you that like identity of yourself independent of the family, but still in community. Those are some of the
Yeah,
things.
absolutely. Oh, I'm listening because my moon is going to progress into Aquarius, and I'm starting to, in 3 days or something. So I'm starting
Wow.
to feel the craving. I want people, I want community. And it's kind of suddenly I feel like the weight's gonna shift from Capricorn, like to let's go connect, let's be social. So I think maybe they can be quite good parents, albeit a bit detached and distant, but it's there is this lightness as well there.
Yeah.
That yeah. Pisces moon. um Pisces moon, definitely a long time. Pisces is a sign that needs to shake off emotionally, because they're emotional sponge. They pick up the feelings of others, and often they have inexplicable feelings of guilt, or of feeling kind of, the Capricorn moon is feeling responsible for everything. The Pisces moon is, they feel like if someone is upset in the family or whatever, or it's their fault for some reason, and they almost feel the feelings of everyone. So just a bath, definitely for them, as a water sign, in a music. For them, music, just listen. Pisces is the sign that connects to the some of the best musicians in the world have Pisces moon, like Prince, Michael Jackson, Johnny, Patrick, I think, Elvis Presley. They all very powerful people, very powerful musicians, because that's, they understand the, they understand the language of the collective unconscious, and it expresses through music. It expresses through um, cinema as well. They need their alone time, maybe to watch a romantic movie, or just to dive into a novel on their own, just walk by the ocean. Pisces rules the ocean. Some art. Pisces, of course, is fine art of many sorts, like finger paint, whatever, feet paint, anything that uses the imagination. And of course, now it's like they would say wine o'clock moms, it's it is very common around moms to if you're Pisces moon, that's not self-care, let me tell you. Drinking wine every night is not self-care. There are healthier ways, but if you need it occasionally, put on wine. But just be careful, because there is danger there into losing yourself, using substances to escape the responsibility of motherhood. There are healthier ways, and maybe one day you transition into the meditation is one of them. So meditation, nature, this low Pisces, art, music, ways, and travel. For Pisces moon, it's also ruled by Jupiter. If they can go on an island somewhere where they can, even without the kids, it will be best, because they merge the identity with the kids, and it's very hard for them to separate who they are. The identity becomes the kids. Pisces has no boundaries. So if they can sometimes just go to a foreign country very different, like then, go to Maui, on an island. Pisces rules islands by the sea, or where you feel you're someone else, there or all. Suddenly you're a single woman with no children. And for 3 days, that's you. Go to a spa, whatever, just Pisces can really do great role playing. So you really take off your skin of one personality, and you put on a different personalities for a few hours or a few days, or I don't know. I mean, like, don't go misleading people that you're someone else, but it's just for yourself. You create your fantasy world. And also leave time to daydream. Pisces moons, they
Yeah.
need to daydream. Imagine how in 4 years you want to be, how you want to look, because Pisces moon has one of the amazing power to capture very easily, because the moon is very psychic, like antenna, to capture images and to create images from the invisible world that they can manifest, and keep this as a vision that, this is the magical moon, where you can manifest it later on by magic almost. So have those quiet moments of meditation. Doesn't mean just sitting and not thinking. Meditation is actually that, focus on how you want to feel, focus on how you imagine your next holiday, and anything that disconnects you for a little bit from from the reality. I think it's quite hard being a mom with Pisces moon, probably, because they're very sensitive, and the structure of motherhood. I think Capricorn moons can cope very well, like the Earth moons can cope really well, and the water moons, especially Cancer, but uh, Pisces, Scorpio, they're a little bit, they're very nurturing and loving as well, but especially Pisces can get overwhelmed with the structures, with the routines. Pisces doesn't like routines, so give yourself some unstructured time where
Yeah.
you don't have to plan anything. You just walk out rambling, or just drive aimlessly and listen to music type of thing. So And they can be also secret romances, but if you're married, I'm not recommending that. So anyway, that's I think we did a great job.
I think we did great. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
good.
On we didn't prepare for that, guys, so you
No, we
we gave you whatever came to mind. Ah,
yeah, I think that will be helpful for moms to think about. And it's like a really good way. And like you can kind of take from that some of the stuff we talked about is like what your children are also kind of need. I mean, you could translate into a child's needs are not the same exactly. Like they may not go on vacation, but there's sort of this, there's definitely similar energy between your child's moon sign and any of those that we went through.
absolutely.
Yeah. And so I know we're like, I'm not sure how much time you have, but I was wondering if I could just quickly, maybe you could talk a little bit because I know there's a lot of moms who like would look at someone like you who has, successful business and you have children. And like, I'm wondering if you have some tips just in general for moms who are looking to like get back into work or to further their career and how they can sort of, manage this idea of self-care and chasing their own dreams.
I think I'm the worst example because I don't do self-care. And my business was already doing really well before I got pregnant. So I had the benefit of having 5 years before that. I did the hardest work before I get pregnant. And after that, it just kept flowing. So uh, I can't really give advice if you're to start having being a mom and start now. It's just, but I think like it will be the same self-doubt as before, but I think a mom will have even more drive to succeed than a single woman, because a mom has a much bigger reason to live now and to, to for her children. Before my reasons were quite selfish for starting, so I think that will help a lot. uh, but I don't know. Personally, I do very little self-care. My self-care is sleeping these days. That's what's a good advice for all moms, to be honest, to sleep. But uh, don't be afraid if you have business, your mom, to delegate, to ask for help. That was my biggest thing. I didn't ask for help, and now I'm just saying, I'm asking, can you watch the kids for a couple of hours? I'm asking family. I'm asking my husband when you need to sleep, when you need to go and work. Don't be afraid to ask. If you don't have anyone to ask, this is quite hard. I would say if you want to be a working mom and having a business and child, definitely you have to. I don't know how you're doing it homeschooling at the same time. I would not be able. I honestly am saying that. I mean, you can't say till you tried, but it's gonna be just too much. Don't try to take on too much. I would say to
Yeah.
moms, it's you can be a great mom if your kids go to daycare or to school. You can be a great time the rest of the time. And to start your own business, you don't need to work from morning to evening every day. You need to decide that you do 3 hours every day, 3 hours, and be consistent. That was my biggest thing that developed my business. Was not that I was brilliant or exceptional or had a different vision than anyone. I was just so consistent, and people start to realize I'm not as consistent now with my video materials and everything. It's just I can't so much. I've done it too long. But at the beginning, at least the first 2 3 years, if you say you're gonna post, if you say you're gonna deliver something, it's if you say you have to do it. You have to learn that structure, and because people learn to, you become, especially if you want to be an astrologer, if you want to be whatever it is. It's nowadays, especially if you're starting your own business, it's only successful if you create a brand around it, and if you basically put yourself as the face. So you have to engage on social media. This is so important. You have to be very consistent with materials on social media. It To have like maybe, and maybe to have like, even if you're doing one post per day or one video per week, when you say you're doing it, you're doing it. And it might take, for me it took almost a year before I started getting clients, consistently making materials and videos, even though there were only 3 YouTube astrologers back then. So it takes people a time to get to know, to like you. Some people really start like a burst from the time. And these people don't even need an advice. They immediately, but for those that are struggling, just be consistent and keep adjusting some things. If you're not seeing at all good results, just tweak a little bit, tweak a title, tweak, I mean, just in this field, I can recommend with this field. So constantly try and change something a little bit to see, sometimes I'll change the title, I'll change the picture, and I'll see suddenly so much shift. So suddenly I do is watch way more when I change the title. So you need to be flexible, experiment, and you can definitely, as a mom, you can get a lot of creative ideas from your children, because you have to be more creative as a mom. You have to play and games. This will help you a lot with your own business. To have your own business, you need to be creative. You need to constantly think of fun topics, ideas, especially if you're on media somehow.
Yeah.
Whatever project it is, you have to be imaginative, creative. And children are, yes, they exhaust and drain us physically, but definitely, especially if you play with them, they spur the imagination. So that's one thing I've seen has in the inspiration and imagination. Kids can, they have so much abundance of that energy, but just being close to them, you can charge yourself with that, if someone else is taking care of them while they're playing. But yeah, I personally say, if you can get home, don't try to be a superhero. If you can get someone, I have someone who comes and cleans every day for me, every day. It's like, you can't with kids, you have to clean every day. I have someone, and I'm planning that every week I'm gonna have 24 hours where I'm away from the kids once I get to
That's great.
Bulgaria, to keep my relationship going. Because if you're a mom and a business owner, your relationship can really suffer, because you're putting everything to the kids and to the business, especially if you're developing at the beginning business. It's a big downer, because you're pulling all your sexual energy, which is in the womb, towards the brain, to business, for raising kids, and it dries out the sexual desire, and that can affect the marriage. So if you can find every week someone to watch the kids for 24 hours, someone you trust, of course, and put some money aside for it, even if you're in the next door hotel, even if you go to stay with friends, that to have one-on-one time with your husband, because that was my biggest mistake, for the last 2 years, that I could not find someone, I didn't insist enough, and that affected us. That affected us on, like, we started seeing each other just like parents, and that's,
Yeah.
you want more than that for a happy, to have a bit of everything. So I'm gonna try and correct this now.
Yeah. Thank you. I think that's really great advice. And I think one thing you said, I know that I've started doing to myself, because it's like there's so many different things. I'm trying to develop this business, and then my husband, the business we already have going, I still have to help with that, and kids and everything. It's like limiting the amount of time you work sometimes is actually helpful. Like I do 3 hours a day every day, right? And then and stop, because otherwise you can just put too much of yourself into it, and you have nothing left to give even the next day, or for your children and your husband. And yeah, there's just, and I think one thing that's really cool for moms who want to start is, like you said, you have a really good reason to start right now. And you have like a real passion for, you want to do something to help your children and to show your children like that they can sort of chase their dreams. And I think that's a really powerful reason to continue, whether you've started something before, maybe you had to take a break, or you want to start something new. It's because, you really want to inspire your children and show them like how awesome you can be as a mom, that you don't have to give up everything to, be a good mom.
Absolutely. My mom was my example, because I was 14 or 13, no, 11, sorry, when communism ended. So no one in Bulgaria could have their own business before that. And suddenly my mom said, I'm going to have my own business. And she opened a fashion studio. It was the most successful. And I had her as an example. And this inspired me that I want to have my business. And so this is so good if you're a mom and if you can open your own business. You don't have to be the most successful. You need to be able to pay the bills with it, and it will make you so proud. And if you're passionate about it, it will grow. Don't worry. Mine took years to grow. And suddenly you might have been doing 2 years, and suddenly you have a breakthrough. I know women that have been doing the same business for 4 or 5 years, and it's always the same. And suddenly, boom, you get like a great transit, and suddenly something appears as an opportunity, and you grab it, and it grows suddenly. So don't give up easily. I know it's easy, overwhelmed as moms. Don't give up, because be consistent. If you believe in what you're doing, of course, tweak things from time to time. You can't uh, do one thing the same way always and always and expect different results. If you keep getting good feedback and you trust in this project and whatever it is, it's going to one day you're going to have the breakthrough. But always there is a test, almost like the universe. Before I'm going to give you the big breakthrough, I'm going to see how consistent and committed and dedicated you are to this. So maybe for a year or for two is not going to be working. And because they want, God only gives you, or your higher self, call it whatever you want, will give you the floods only when you're ready, only when you've been tested and seen that you're committed no matter what. Because and then you're given higher and higher tasks and more projects as they're given to you as ideas and inspirations. The breakthrough is a gift from God. The everything else is your own work, you know. Of course, your natural interests as well, gifts from God, but and then the breakthrough comes when you've been consistent and done everything. And from then on, it's a smooth sailing. When you have your breakthrough, it just starts growing and growing. And I'm so lucky to see so many moms around me, not only moms, but women that are uh, being so, all my friends are having their own businesses and all my friends are making it. And I'm just, and one good advice, if someone is successful around you, be joyful for them, because
Yes.
this energy of being joyful for them, maybe it's your friend, maybe it's your enemy, be joyful in making, because you're sending the signal to the universe that you appreciate that you receive the same. Don't feel envious for someone else if they're successful. Just rejoice with them. This is always uh, something that will help. And a lot of, for me, because I had a lot of self-doubt, so what helped me is a lot of positive visualizations. Every time I was feeling down that my business, I'm never gonna make it through, I'm never gonna make money through that. And the first 1 year was like that, you know. Even the first 5 years I was barely paying rent. And then suddenly it's such a blessing, you know. I can't explain. I've never had money in my life. And it's just not to know what to do with it now. I'm just not used to spend, because I've lived all my life on, you know, counting pennies. And so I'll daydream. Every time something did not work through, a difficult day, a difficult client, I put out something, no response, I would sit and daydream what the result is. And I would imagine, I would feel the joy of it. And it always overwhelmed my expectations. But you have to feel the feeling of what it is to have it, what it is to feel the validation, what it is to get like 1,000 people coming to your course or whatever. Just imagine, but first start dreaming in things that feels real to you, that things achievable. Maybe what it is to have 20 people come to your course, what it is to have 200, what it is, you know. And you raise the bar a little bit, because you need to be able to believe it, to feel it. I think what has helped me with the business has been that the most. And then you don't despair so easily, and you build that image in the ethereal realm, whatever it's called. And it's exists for you, so the universe starts bringing you all the right things for it to manifest. And don't get boggled on the details too much. That was my worry. How am I going to do this? How am I going to do this project? I don't know. I'm not a software, and I was trying to be a software programmer. No, just contact, uh, don't try to do everything alone. At the beginning, I was doing everything alone. Once things start going good, get software, they get programmer, get someone to offload, just like delegate, delegate, delegate. That's, you can, if you're just starting, you can't do that. If you're just starting, you have to be jack of all trades, but ask friends maybe for help. Once you have something, just help someone with emails, with now I don't check emails, now I don't, it's like, I've learned in the last 2 3 years since I've had kids, that you don't need to do everything. You can
Yeah.
give to others and do the thing that you're most passionate about. Now all I do is videos and courses, because this is what I'm most passionate about. At the beginning, you might have to do the dirty work too, be ready. But when you see that you're succeeding, scrap everything else. If you don't like talking to clients, don't talk to them. If you don't like answering emails, find someone else to do it. Just do the thing you are most brilliant at. If you're good at writing, if you're good at filming, whatever it is, just that thing. But at the beginning, you have to do everything, because you're just starting something. the beginning, the opposite advice. Don't go spending too much money on all specialists, marketing, advertising. No, do it all yourself. Even now, I don't have marketing specialists. I do it, myself. But things that I don't want to do, that I want to offload, like the cleaning of the house, the the administrative work on the website, the IT responsibility on the website, and all of those things. It's been such a relief. So first, be jack of all trades, then downsize all your responsibilities and focus on the things that you're brilliant at, because that will bring you the most success and money. So that's, I guess that's in a long summary.
No, that's awesome. Thank you. I'm sure a lot of people are going to get a lot of inspiration from that. I mean, for you, so much good advice. I love the stuff about manifesting, really, and like imagining, what you picture you're going to get. Like, you really do have to be ready to sort of receive that success. You have to be able to picture it, so you can be spiritually or vibrationally, however you want to say it, like in line with that abundance that is there for everyone if you're ready for it and you're willing to work for it.
And when you keep doing that, I was a dreamer since child, and I have very strong, when I close my eyes, I can imagine things in details, but some people don't have that. But if you start doing it, after imagining something 2-3 times, it will become so real in your head. You'd feel like you've experienced it. Sometimes, like, I thought that I've completed some project because I've pictured it so clearly. And I'm like, oh, it hasn't happened yet, but I know it's gonna happen, and it does. And it does eventually. And it's beyond your, usually it's way better than you imagine. But you've generated that energy that it is already there. You've created it in your head. It exists already there. So yeah, this quality grows really with the more you practice it.
Yeah.
And yeah, this it is fun actually. I was a daydreamer and I keep doing it. I'll have at least 20 minutes per day where I do that. Just sitting outside in the garden and imagining. I have to do it with the kids as well, maybe how I want them to behave. Yeah, you can do it for everything. I started imagining it now how they'll be on the flight. So I never let a thought he might scream or he might tease his sister. I just imagine him asleep all the time. And I imagine him watching some movie. So yeah, it's very important not to allow, because negative thoughts can be the biggest deterrent to your fast success, because it's you're sending a sign to the universe, I don't trust myself. The universe says, okay, there is this opportunity for you to do this, and you're like, oh, I don't trust I can do it. And that's the biggest thing that slows you down. That's why my success came very slowly, because I had huge doubts. I couldn't believe it even. I would imagine every day, but I still had huge doubts. At the beginning, many people have huge doubts. They disappear after consistent success. So don't beat yourself if you have huge doubts, but try to, add to them those visualization of what it feels like to have success. Because I was the most negative person. I'm extremely negative person. People don't know the real me. I always see worst case scenarios. I always feel why I cannot do something. And I trained it out of me. I'm still like that, but not for business now. I'm like that with my mothering now. So I need to kick it out and train it out of myself, that I beat myself down on mothering. But for business, even though I don't do it the best way, I'm like, you get the confidence after continuous, 2-3 times you have success. It's years, but it's like you beat yourself down at the beginning. Most people are. There are people that in their superior ego, they always think they're much better than they are, but mostly people feel less than they really are. It's very rare to have those in the superior ego. Most people in the inferior ego. So I'm trying to help those of them. You'll be feeling that you can't do it, but you just keep imagining, picturing it, trying every day a little bit, 2-3 hours, and it will come one day. And now it's just running on its own. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's like cool we're talking about this, because like one thing, so for years I've been watching your astrology stuff. I mean, I've been studying astrology forever. I've watched your YouTube videos, and one thing I would always think is I'd be like, I would love to interview her. Like I would just love to talk to her about astrology. And then like I'm doing it right now. So it's like that's one of the things.
There you go.
Like,
yeah, and you probably never had resistance, like it's never gonna happen. You probably, that would be so, wouldn't it be nice if you didn't it never happened, but you framed it in a different way.
Yeah.
Oh wow, you go. And you started your astrology career and you did it with 3 little kids.
Yeah,
If
it
you
was
can do
just
it.
like, and I had always wanted to sort of do my own, like I'd been working, teaching communications courses and other things, but like I wanted to really do my own thing and do this astrology and this more like spiritual, esoteric work. And I was definitely so full of self-doubt. And like I would have these times where I could picture it, but I couldn't make the jump. And then I just like, I think finally it was like a God thing, like just like I was like, you have to do it. You have to do it now. And then, yeah. And then I just did it and sort of, yeah, it's really scary, definitely, but it's also exciting. And then it's so rewarding to get, you know, to just sort of start to see yourself like, yes, I showed up. I said this class would be ready and this class is ready now. And just all the different things. It's really rewarding, I think.
How long when did you start? A few months ago?
Yeah. So I only officially started the business as of like, I guess it was January is when I first like, you know, started the official business. I've been doing like on the side, you know, like I would read charts for my friends and of course been
Yeah.
studying astrology for years, but I never was like public with my business till, yeah, only January.
Wow. There you go. And how do you feel? How is it going?
I mean, it's good. I mean, I have a lot of goals I want to achieve, you know, and things, but it's been really fun. And I'm like amazed at how much I've learned, even in the process of just doing it, you know, like, okay, we get like all the social media stuff, all of that was like not something I was super familiar with. And it's definitely different. Like my husband's business we already have, which it does well. And now it's kind of like its own thing, which has helped give me this time to do it. But it doesn't need social media so much, you know, it's is what it is. You build a house, it's good, you could take a picture, but that's not how you sell, really. It's word of mouth. And so this is very different, but it's also so fun and great to feel like, you know, you're helping people. It's nice, like the clients I've started working with who are not, you know, like my personal friends, and be like, watch them have serious breakthroughs or growth. It's incredibly rewarding, you know.
Reward that, but also your Gemini moon, you naturally adapt to learning new things. You know, you don't. A lot of people have resistance and will be so frustrating having to learn to edit videos, to put tags, how to monetize, how you know, it's a lot of stuff. But Gemini moon, if anyone can learn fast and adapt quickly without so much frustration, that's you. I'm so happy to see your business going, and I'm wishing you amazing growth. uh, I'm wishing you to you know, your dreams, whatever you dreamed up, whatever you imagined, to go beyond that, always beyond that, and to help so many people. Obviously, you're an amazing astrologer and mom. Thank you so much for interviewing me,
Oh, thank
having
you
me.
so much for, yeah, for this time and this discussion and for all of the work you've put out there. I mean, it's so great. Like your work is so accessible for people too, like who want to learn. You have so much out there that they can just find on YouTube and really get deep into astrology without having to, you know, pay anything. That's such a gift that you've given.
So that's one of the last, actually, that's the first thing for anyone would say. If you want to receive, give a lot for free. And probably still 80% of my work now is free. But yeah, the 20% is some number figure. And it's incredible. I give 80% of my work for free. You don't have to do 80%. It doesn't go just go and do free readings for people, but give free information. That's what people need. Give, you know, the more you give free, the more you will receive free. You see, like programs like Zoom, they're free, you know. Oops, sorry. And you always have to give something free to receive. That's my, you know, uh, advice for people who are starting. The more you give, more will come back to you.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's great advice. Yeah. Give and then receive. I love that. Yeah, that's amazing. So yeah, thank you so much for spending this time.